The land. It is the heartbeat of the Philippines, a source of food, livelihood, and identity.
Yet for generations, many who tilled the soil did not own it. Large estates, shared tenancy, insecure tenure, such were the legacy of a colonial and post-colonial agrarian structure.
Starting in the late 1980s, the government launched formal agrarian reform efforts to change that, to hand the land to those who work it.
But giving land alone is not enough. How do you nurture that land so it becomes productive, sustainable, and empowers its owners?
This documentary explores that question. We examine how agrarian reform has been implemented in the Philippines, what works, what doesn't, and why.
We call this journey Nurturing the Land.
What is agrarian reform?
Agrarian reform broadly means redistributing land and restructuring agricultural relations so that those who till the land can also own and benefit from it.
In the Philippine context, this issue is acute. Large land holdings were common, while many farm workers and tenants lacked secure tenure or access to markets and support.
The signature law was the Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Law of 1988, CARL, which launched the Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Program, CARP. Under CARP, the state committed to acquire and distribute agricultural land to farmers and farm workers.
The law stipulated not just land redistribution, but also support services, infrastructure, credit, training, because ownership alone was understood to be insufficient.
Tenure security, access to inputs, and leakages to markets are equally key.
By the early 2000s, this reform agenda was extended through CARPER, the Extension of Reforms, and further via targeted projects such as the Agrarian Reform Communities Project, or ARCP, supported by the Asian Development Bank.
Fundamentally, agrarian reform in the Philippines aims at four core objectives: secure property rights for farmers, timely delivery of support services, agrarian justice, and alleviation of rural poverty.
Major programs and implementation.
The Agrarian Reform Communities Project, under project number 305400013, the ADB and the Philippines government collaborated to provide infrastructure, services, and institutional capacity to agrarian reform beneficiary communities.
The study of ARCP, discussion paper number 110, found that rural infrastructure, particularly farm-to-market roads, irrigation systems, potable water, together with agricultural support services, can significantly reduce poverty in ARCs.
Some findings. Households in ARCs that had better infrastructure and support services had higher asset holdings, higher incomes, and were less likely to be poor.
For example, the report shows that, on average, an increase of one additional rural infrastructure facility per 1,000 households was associated with a reduction in the poverty incidence of about 3.6 percentage points.
At the same time, the report warned simply having infrastructure is not enough if farmers lack organization, access to credit, or leakages to markets.
ARCP's design emphasized clustered agrarian reforms communities, groups of ARBs living in a defined geography with common infrastructure and supportive services. This clustering was meant to generate economies of scale and stronger institutions.
Yet, implementation faced challenges like delays in fund release, difficulties in monitoring and data quality, and overlap between agencies. The report flagged that some ARCs had infrastructure, but the farmers still lacked productive services or market access.
Agrarian reform isn't simply about land titles. It's about building enabling environments, infrastructure, plus services, plus institutions. Despite these programs, the reforms have not always met expectations. Several critical problems remain.
1. Incomplete land distribution and tenure insecurity. Many estates covered by CARP and CARPER remain undistributed or unresolved. According to one review, as late as 2013, about 790,000 hectares remain to be acquired and distributed.
2. weak support services, and infrastructural gaps. The RCP study found that if support services like extension, credit, or markets were weak, the gain from infrastructure were limited. In other words, infrastructure alone fails to guarantee poverty reduction.
3. Market access and value chain constraints. Some ARBs got land and roads, but still struggle to transport produce, sell it at fair prices, or overcome middlemen. The report cautions that ARBs often lack bargaining power or access to multiple output markets.
4. Institutional capacity, coordination, and data issues. The ARCP study and others pointed to problems with monitoring, data quality, interagency coordination, and local implementation capacity.
5. Risk of exclusion and uneven benefits. Some households in the best of position benefited more than the poorest, raising equity concerns.
6. Environmental and external risks. Smallholder ARBs are vulnerable to climate shocks, land use conversion pressures, and degrading resources, adding another layer of complexity to nurturing the land sustainably.
One compelling quote from the report is, "If support services are weak, households may remain stuck in subsistence mode despite infrastructure."
The overall message: without complementary services, infrastructure and tenure security alone cannot fulfill the promise of agrarian reform.
So how do we move forward? How do we truly nurture the land and the people who work it?
First, land distribution must be matched with timely, relevant support services like extension, credit, inputs, market linkages. The RCP report shows that combined infrastructure plus services drive better outcomes.
Second, invest in institutional capacity. Strengthen farmer organizations, cooperatives, local governance, data systems. Implementation matters as much as design.
Third, focus on value. Chain integration and market participation help ARBs access multiple markets, improve bargaining power, and reduce transaction costs. The welfare research signals that market access remains a bottleneck.
Fourth, ensure equitable benefit distribution. Target the more remote and disadvantaged ARBs so that the gap between the better off and the more vulnerable doesn't widen.
5th, make infrastructure climate resilient and sustainable. Roads, irrigation, water system must endure floods, typhoons, and drought.
6. Ensure coherent coordination between agencies like the Department of Agrarian Reform, Department of Agriculture, local government units, and development partners, a lesson reinforced by the ARCP study's findings.
In short, to nurture the land, give it to those who work it, then build around the gift a full ecosystem of support, opportunity, and resilience.
The land holds promise. The farmers hold hope. Agrarian reform is meant to unlock both.
But for the promise to become harvest, the land must be nurtured, not simply handed over.
From secure tenure to farm to market roads, from credit and extension to markets and climate resilience, all play their part.
When we design programs that recognize the complexity, we begin to fulfill the original intent of agrarian reform.
Because the land is not just ground under our feet, it's our future.
When we nurture our land, we nurture our people. And when we nurture our people, the land finally begins to thrive.